This is the Week in Review for TheTrumpet.com, Friday, December 30th, 2011. Last Saturday, Iranian warships and submarines sailed across the wide stretch of water from the Strait of Hormuz to the Gulf of Aden. The Iranian Navy is still conducting the 10-day series of war exercises. Iran is using the maneuvers to threaten the West with the closure of the world's most strategic oil transit choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. About 15 million barrels of oil pass through the strait each day. The threat of shutting it down is a highly provocative move that could lead to some explosive consequences. At least 20 people were killed Monday when Syrian tanks rolled into homes and blasted the opponents of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. Although Arab League monitors have arrived in the country, no sign has emerged that Assad will halt his offensive against protesters. The tank attacks came just after two suicide bomber attacks killed at least 30 people in Damascus, near the State Security Directorate. Syria is on the brink of civil war. For the last 9 months, Sunni opposition groups have risen up against Assad's Shiite-dominated government. The United Nations estimates that over 5,000 people have died so far in this conflict. The prospect of a regime change in Syria carries heavy regional implications. Turkey and Saudi Arabia would love to see Sunni protesters overthrow Shiites, pulling Syria out of Iran's influence. Greece's major political parties have agreed to postpone a general election for 2 more months. Greece's unelected government was supposed to give way to an elected government in February, but the government announced on Tuesday that the elections will be pushed back to April. The government needs more time to negotiate with banks and try to cut its €100 billion debt in half. The euro crisis continues to deny Greece democracy. On Thursday, the euro hit a 10-year low against the Japanese yen and its lowest level against the dollar since 2010. The slide came after Italy sold only €7 billion out of a maximum of €8.5 billion at a bond auction. Earlier in the week, banks deposited a record amount of funds at the European Central Bank. The deposits, which totaled more than €452 billion, are seen as a sign of tension in the markets since the ECB offers an interest rate of only 0.25%. As the year closes out, the Eurozone crisis rolls on. On Sunday, Tokyo and Beijing announced a series of financial agreements that could alter the global financial system. According to the agreements, China and Japan will conduct trade using their own currencies, no longer converting transactions to American dollars. The agreements also allow Japan to hold Chinese yuan in its foreign exchange reserves, which are currently full of dollars. Woes in Europe and America have investors looking for investment alternatives to the dollar and the euro. Chinese and Russian leaders forged a similar agreement last year and have already started trading with each other using yuan and rubles instead of dollars. These economic agreements point not only to the decline of the dollar, but also to a coming era of Asian unity. On Thursday, Beijing announced that it plans to send a mission to the moon. The mission is scheduled for sometime around 2020, yet the official statement underscores China's soaring ambitions and its quest to project more power. The announcement also comes only 5 months after the United States retired its space shuttle program. China's space program is rising rapidly while NASA trudges through a period of inactivity. This contrast will hasten the decision of smaller Asian nations to begin looking to Beijing. Brazil's economy has overtaken Britain to become the world's 6th largest economy. The Center for Economics and Business Research said on Monday that Britain's economy will fall to 8th place by 2020 and will be surpassed by Russia and India. A nation that once ruled a quarter of the Earth's land area has been reduced to an economic weakling that is falling fast. Last Tuesday, Argentina successfully convinced the countries of the Mercosur trading bloc to close their ports to ships flying the flag of the Falkland Islands. This decision came less than 2 weeks after a visiting Chinese diplomat ratified support for Argentina's claim on the islands. Sooner or later, Argentina will once again test Britain's control over this sea gate. Bible prophecy predicts that London will lose control of this strategic asset. Britain is one of the top countries in Europe for single-parent families. Governments in France, Germany, Holland, and Italy offer tax relief for families and children. Britain's tax system, however, penalizes traditional families more than almost any other developed nation. At the same time, it encourages single parenthood and actually penalizes them financially if they even cohabitate, much less marry. With these perverse incentives and its once-praised morals dragging in the gutters, it is no wonder that Britain is a world leader in failing families. America's housing market, a major cause of its economic troubles since 2007, is still problematic heading into 2012. A new report released Tuesday states that the average home price fell 3.4% between January and October. Since a house is the biggest investment the average person makes, such a drop in value dampers other spending and confidence. Falling house prices will also weaken America's wobbly banking sector. That is the Trumpet.com Week in Review.